Welcome to my channel. This is Dr. K with Body Successful. The purpose of today's video is to help you and teach you how to calculate the total amount of calories that you're required to consume in order to maintain your body frame. Okay, let's get started. Metabolism is the sum total of all the chemical reactions that take place inside your body to keep you alive. When we speak of a fast or slow metabolism, we speak of its rate and we speak of its efficiency. So ironically, when we speak of efficiency in general, we associate that with something positive, a good thing, right? However, when it comes to metabolism, quite the opposite is true. When your body is efficient, your metabolism is efficient, that means that it learned to make do with very little energy to perform the functions required at the cellular level because it's slowed down. So naturally, when we speak of metabolism, we want a fast metabolism, so we do not want efficiency. Quite the opposite, we want a wasteful metabolism that is going to use up all the available energy inside, and it's ready for more in terms of food. So that means you can eat more, right? So why is that so important? Well, when your metabolism is fast and functions at a normal rate, your basal metabolic rate or your resting metabolic rate uses up approximately 70% of your total daily energy expenditure. That is a lot. So that means that it's a huge chunk of the calories that you consume is allocated towards your basal metabolic rate. Your basal metabolic rate is, you should look at it as the energy that you have to consume in order to keep yourself alive at rest. So over a 24-hour period of time, the basal metabolic rate is the amount of energy that your body used to just lay there and not move a muscle and pretend that you're a vegetable. Okay? So obviously, if that requires almost 70% of your total daily energy expenditure, it should be a very important thing. So it'll behoove us to speed up our metabolism, to keep our metabolism in check, to keep it healthy, to have a really high metabolism. So this is why we are going to start with understanding where you're at and then taking the proper steps to either repair or play with to get the proper body composition. All right, your basal metabolic rate will depend on several factors besides the typical parameters. So things like your lean muscle mass, how much lean muscle mass do you have, your thyroid gland, how balanced are your hormones in your body, so several other factors, right? However, we can estimate that pretty well utilizing the Benedict-Harris equation. And there are several others, but this is what I use. This is what I've learned since school, and I've been using it with my clients and patients. And you can see that it is gender specific. So there are two equations. First, I'm going to be putting up one for male and then one for the female. And what you would be doing is you would get you would plug in your height, your weight, your age, and then it would get you a number. Same for women. You would need your height, your weight, and your age, and you would get a number. Now, I appreciate that this is a pretty long equation and most people don't want to be bothered with numbers. And good news, guys, there's an app for that, of course. Or not even that, you could just Google calculate my BMR and put in your height, weight, and age, and it'll spit out a number. And I actually compared the two against each other, and it's pretty accurate, so you don't have to worry about it. So now you have a number for the BMR. So now you know how many calories you should be consuming minimum just to stay alive, all right? Whatever that BMR is, that means that's the bare minimum that you require just for your physiological processes. And that does not take into account all the physical activity on top of it that you do throughout the day. All right, and that just doesn't just mean exercising in the gym. This just means all the non-intended movements that you would do, such as going to the bathroom, putting on a pair of socks, picking up your phone, whatever. all the other movements that you do throughout the day that do not fall into just laying in bed like a vegetable. So how do we find out that number? That will be your total daily energy expenditure. That's the total amount of calories that you would need to fulfill all the physical activity that you perform and the physiologic processes that you require to just stay alive. All right, so obviously we have to account for the activity, and we do that by multiplying with an activity factor, depending on what activity bracket you fall into. So your total daily energy expenditure will equal your basal metabolic rate times an activity factor. All right, and I'm going to put up the diagram here so you guys are going to see the different categories of activity factors that you can fall into. So I'd like to mention something here though, because almost all the time when I work with clients, they always overestimate their activity level, and their reasoning is, well, I work out at the gym, I go to the gym every day, so on and so forth. But what they don't think about is, all right, suppose you work out 2 hours a day, right? What about the other 22 hours? What do you do during that time? And most of us during that time primarily either sit or lay down. I know I sit in my car to get to work. I spend about 70% of my time at work in front of the computer writing reports. After that, I sit back into my car to go wherever I need to go. When I'm at home, I'm primarily lounging around sitting also. So majority of my time actually is spent sitting. So actually I do probably fall in the category of a sedentary person, even though I work out every day. So you see, you have to be a little bit stingy when it comes to allocating yourself a certain activity level, and of course congruently the activity factor. So now for the total daily energy expenditure, you're going to multiply your BMR times an activity factor, and then you get your total amount of energy that you should be eating. In other words, the total amount of calories that you should be consuming in order to maintain your frame as is and fulfilling the physical activities that you're performing on average every day. All right, so how does this compare to where you are? Well, you wouldn't know unless you track it, right? So for the next 7 days, guys, homework, what you're gonna be doing is you're gonna track everything you eat and drink, minus water obviously because it has no caloric value. So you're going to be adding everything together, and you take an average over a 7-day period and you come up with a number. And now you can honestly compare and see, all right, I calculated a total daily energy expenditure that I should be at, and where am I at now? All right, so you're either above that, sort of the same, or below that. And for example, let's say you're not meeting your total daily energy expenditure. Your goal is to lose weight, yet you're not going anywhere. You're not seeing any changes in the mirror. You're not even close to where you should be in your caloric intake, yet you're not losing any weight, or you're not changing your body shape, size, composition. And this is where I'm moving towards the next video. This is going to be the topic of the next video, where I'm going to be talking about the yo-yo dieters and the effect of yo-yo dieting on the body and your basal metabolic rate. The so-called damaged metabolism, which by the way I don't believe in, because the body will always adjust to do what it needs to do given the proper circumstances. Everything is reversible. So how are we going to reverse and heal that broken metabolism? How to ramp up your BMR, and finally how to reverse diet the proper way. So if you liked this video, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next episode of my video. And remember, happiness is an inside job. This is me signing out. Dr. K, till next time.